We are back hunting for Steelbooks in CEX, so join me as we visit 2 brand new stores and find out if we strike steel or for the first time strike out Steelbook hunting in CEX. Hello again folks and welcome back to another episode of Steelbook Hunting in CEX, the series in which every episode I hit up 2 brand new CEX stores to try and find bargain steelbooks to add to my collection. And so far, so good. In every store we have visited, we have managed to find some bargain steelbooks, but the question is, today, does our luck run out? Just before we head off on our Steelbook hunt, I want to remind you folks, if you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button and please subscribe. So I put new videos out every Saturday live at 5 as well as bonus content throughout the week, and I really want you folks along for the ride. Now, let's head to CEX, Steelbook hunting. The first store we are hunting in this time is Hertford, and full disclaimer, this time when we visited they were undergoing a stock check. But let's hope we can still find some steelbooks hiding amongst this very small store. But we know by now it's not the size of the CEX store that counts, it is the content. So let's hope we can find some steelbooks. And starting off in the Xbox One section, normally one of the best places to find steelbooks. Now, going through here, there's nothing really jumping out straight away. I've been looking for the Doom Steelbook for the longest time. I thought it was in that slipcase, but unfortunately not. We'll keep scrolling through. A pretty good Xbox One section here. A lot of the heavy hitters, and obviously it's a fantastic time to collect for the Xbox at the moment because a lot of these games are super cheap. And here is a steelbook I've been looking for absolutely ages, Mortal Kombat X. But I don't know what it is about this steelbook. Every time I find it, it seems to be damaged, but who knows? Maybe one day I'll manage to find one of these in mint condition to add to the collection. It's such a beautiful steelbook, but it just seems really flimsy. I already have this Bayonetta Vanquish one in the collection. It is a thing of absolute beauty, so I did pass on that one this time. We're continuing to look through here, just hoping to find a steelbook which is in good condition and I need for the collection. Sadly, no luck in the Xbox One section. Let's hope we have a bit more luck here in the Xbox 360 section. Now, it's getting harder to find steelbooks for the Xbox 360, but you can get some absolute bargains, and you will always find this steelbook. It seems that every single CEX store in the country has a copy of BioShock for the Xbox 360. Fantastic game, but incredibly common steelbook. One I think I added to the collection roughly when the game came out. I think I actually bought that game with the steelbook when it was first released. A very small Xbox 360 section here, as we are seeing more and more around the country. Another really nice steelbook here, the Halo Wars one. I have already added this one to the collection. I think there's a second Halo Wars steelbook. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below, which is a lot bigger and I think has an art book in as well. That's an absolutely fantastic steelbook right there. Then one more here and another very common Xbox 360 steelbook here, Perfect Dark Zero. Again, another one which I added back in the collection, back on release. Moving on from the Xbox to the PlayStation, and starting off here in the PlayStation 3 section. Now, unfortunately, this was quite a small section, and unfortunately as well, there wasn't any steelbooks to be found here. But speaking of PlayStation, one section which I think in the next few years we're going to find a lot more steelbooks within is the PlayStation 5 section. As this console matures, I think it's going to become more and more common to find steelbooks for the PlayStation 5. Steelbooks such as this one, the Street Fighter steelbook, which is an absolute thing of beauty. But here's the thing. The price of this game is only going to go down over the next few years, so I'm going to wait to pick this beauty up when it's cheaper. Continuing into the PlayStation 4 section, it doesn't take us very long to find this one right here, the Batman Arkham Collection. Now, annoyingly, I've actually picked this game up quite recently, really cheap, so for £15 I did pass on this one, even though it was an absolute beauty of a steelbook and an absolutely fantastic collection. Going through the remaining PlayStation 4 games, and unfortunately there wasn't any other steelbooks I needed here for my collection. But here's the thing, when you are steelbook hunting in CEX, there is no guarantee that you will find any steelbooks. And so far in this series, we have had nothing but wins. But unfortunately today, here in Hertford, this is the first time, rather than striking steel, we have struck out steelbook hunting in CEX. Here's hoping we find some more steelbooks in the next store. Onwards and upwards. So unfortunately we did strike out in Hertford, but let's hope we have more luck here in Chesterfield. And let's jump straight into the PlayStation 4 section, as honestly this is where I find the majority of my Steelbooks. So let's hope we can strike Steel this time. And starting off, it's not looking too good. We're into our second section here, already into the D and not seeming to find any Steelbooks, which is a bit of a worry. I really don't want to go 2 for 2 without picking up any Steelbooks, but I did grab this one, the Fallout 4 Steelbook. I have this already in the collection. I wasn't sure if it might have been a variant, and honestly for £2 I'm not going to miss the opportunity to pick up a Steelbook for one of my favourite franchises of all time, even if it is sadly a duplicate. Speaking of duplicates, did you know that some games have multiple Steelbooks released for them? Indeed, the next game I grab off the shelf here, this will be the third different Steelbook which I found for this one game. This is Shadow of Mordor, and I cannot believe I found a third different Steelbook for this game, and this one is without a doubt the coolest one I have found so far. It is embossed, it has the slipcase, and for that price is an absolute bargain. So we had finally struck Steel here in the PlayStation 4 section. Let's hope we can continue that trend in the PlayStation 3 section. I actually can't believe there's 3 different variants for that Lord of the Rings game. It's absolutely crazy, and just one of the things that I love about collecting Steelbooks. They're just so varied. They have such awesome artwork, and there's just so many cool ones to pick up. And honestly, most of the time when you're Steelbook hunting in CX, you can get bargains like Bioshock. Like I said, we see it in every single CEX store. But here's the thing, it is a Steelbook which is slowly getting rusty over time. So that's something you definitely have to consider when you are Steelbook hunting. Carrying on through the Xbox 360 section, and unfortunately there wasn't any other Steelbooks either in the Xbox 360 section or the PlayStation 3 section. It is getting harder and harder to find Steelbooks for both these consoles, but that's half the fun of hunting. One last section to hunt for Steelbooks in, and is the Xbox One section, and more often than not this is where I strike Steel. Now what I've found so far in this series is the average number of Steelbooks that I will find for my collection per CEX store is 2. And unfortunately this time we have not been very successful Steelbook hunting in CEX, but here's the thing. For me, it is all about the thrill of the hunt, as you never know what you're going to find, if anything, and that is why I love Steelbook hunting in CEX. Here we are then back in the games room from another Steelbook hunt, and unfortunately, yes, it has finally happened for the first time ever in this series. In Hertford, we did strike out. Now, while I did have some absolutely amazing Steelbooks, unfortunately, there was none I needed for my personal collection, but comment down below if there was any Steelbooks that you personally would have picked up. But don't worry, in our next CEX store, I still managed to strike Steel. In Chesterfield, I managed to find not 1 but 2 Steelbooks, including this absolute bargain Fallout 4 Steelbook. And I cannot believe you can get not just a Steelbook, of course, but a PlayStation 4 game for just £2. It's an absolute bargain for an absolutely amazing game. I absolutely love the Fallout franchise, and even I have this one in my collection already. I just had to pick this one up for just £2. It's an absolute bargain. The other Steelbook I picked up from Chesterfield is this game right here, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. Now, I thought I'd picked this one up before, but it's actually the fact I've picked up multiple Steelbooks for Middle-earth: Shadow of War. But look at this Steelbook. It is a thing of absolute beauty. But this is not the only Lord of the Rings based Steelbook I want to talk about in this episode. In recent episodes of Steelbook Hunting in CEX, I have found not 1 but 2 copies of this game, Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Now, yes, of course, these are for different consoles, but these are actually totally different Steelbooks. That's because one of these is the Tesco exclusive. So if I unbox these, you will see these are totally different Steelbooks, which I thought was super cool. So that's the front of these Steelbooks. And then when we go to the back, you can see they are totally different. Now, I thought this was super cool because there was 2 variants of this Steelbook, but I could not believe when I went into my local CEX store here in the fine city of Norwich, I found a 3rd variant of this Steelbook behind the counter. So we've had the Tesco variant, the silver edition, and now we have the gold edition, which once again is a different Steelbook. I don't think I've ever known any game to have 3 different Steelbook variants, but let me know in the comments down below, is there even more variants for this amazing game which I still need to find? Even though this time we didn't manage to find any Steelbooks in our first CEX store, we still managed to find 3 brand new Steelbooks to add to the collection, even though one of these was from my local CEX store here in the fine city of Norwich. But this is the beauty of it. These 3 Steelbooks together cost me just £10. It just goes to show, even if you strike out, you can still strike steel in CEX for an absolute bargain Steelbook price. There we have it then, folks. That was another episode of Steelbook Hunting in CEX. And this is what I love about Steelbook hunting. You never know what you're going to find, and you never know what surprises are going to be in store. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and join me next time to find out if we strike out or strike steel Steelbook Hunting in CEX. See you all soon.